This is the Stine Seedcast. I'm your host, David Thompson. Join me as we visit with growers, agronomists, seed experts, and other industry professionals about seed, agronomy, and the business of farming. Hello, and welcome to the Stine Seedcast. I'm David Thompson, National Marketing and Sales Director for Stine Seed Company. Today, we welcome to the Seedcast Joe Henry, a row crop farmer and Stine customer from Oblong, Illinois. Thanks for joining us remotely, Joe.
Hi, how are you doing?
So in this episode, Joe's going to talk about the legacy of his family farm operation, his decade-long Stine story, and what the value of Stine means to him when it comes to choosing his seed partner. So let's get started. So Joe, I guess right from the top, you're a Stine customer, so I want to say thanks for your business. I know you've been a valued customer of ours for a number of years, and we always like to say thanks for the support you give us, and hopefully we're partnering with you and improving your operation. So thanks for your continued business as a Stine customer.
Thank you.
So for starters, you hail from Oblong, Illinois. Maybe for the less initiated, maybe give our listeners a little bit of idea where that is.
I'm about 45 miles east of Effingham and about the same distance west of Terre Haute, Indiana, kind of right in the middle, and just a little bit south of Interstate 70.
Okay. Right in the heart of row crop country right there.
Yep. Yep.
So to get the ball rolling, maybe tell us a little bit about, you're part of a family farm operation. Tell us about your farm operation and kind of your background in the area that you're in.
Well, it's a family farm. I started with my dad and my uncle. They farmed together, and I just kind of did what I needed to do. And we had about 1,200 acres when we started, and we had roughly 5,000 head of hogs too, plus some cows. And my uncle passed away in '97, and me and Dad decided to get out of the hog business. So, because my uncle was the one that really wanted the hogs. We did it all together, but we decided to get out and just focus mostly on our row crop stuff. Because looking back now, I have no idea how we had time to do all of it because it took a lot of time. So, but now we're up to about 20, or I'm up to about 2,300 acres of row crop. So,
Yep, like a lot of operations, kind of choosing to specialize. So you went into the row crop arena. You guys do corn, soybeans, anything else?
yeah, just corn and soybeans. We used to do wheat, but we haven't did wheat for probably about 10 years now, probably.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And is it just kind of a general corn soybean rotation for the
yeah,
most part?
yeah,
Pretty even balance.
yeah.
Good. So you said your dad, your uncle, your brother. So it really is kind of a whole family affair when it comes to the operation there.
Yeah, now it's just me because Dad passed away 4 years ago. So it's just
Okay.
me. Then I have my brother-in-law comes and helps part-time, and I've got three other guys that'll help part-time. I don't really need them all the time, but they're there when I need them. They're always there. They're pretty good help. So
Well, that's important to have.
yeah,
Labor is an invaluable resource when it comes to the work that you do, and like you said, it's sometimes feast or famine because certain times of year it's not as critical, but certain times of year it's absolutely critical to be able to have
yeah,
enough hands on deck, and so it's good that you have a support team there to
yeah,
help you out.
definitely.
You said you started from a slightly smaller operation. Now you've grown over the past couple of decades. What are you looking for, going forward for this operation?
I guess mainly I'm about as big as I want to be. I don't really want to grow anymore. I feel I've got all I can take care of and do a good job at it. So without
Good.
having a lot more help, and I'm not looking for that. So
Yep. So you kind of found your sweet spot. That's good.
yes, yeah.
Give me a little bit of a overview from where you're at now. What's the growing season look like? Where did it start from? What's it look like today? Just give us a little bit of a report.
We got a little late start just because we were really wet through here. I mean, I think the first corn I planted was May 16th, I think, and we finished up like June 2nd. We finished up planting beans June the 2nd. And then we had replant some towards the end of June because it was so wet we couldn't get back in to replant some beans. Corn all looks pretty good, and I've got probably half of my beans They all look really good. They look, yeah, like you'd see in a picture. I mean, they're beautiful looking beans right now. So, and the corns looks really good too. So for the weather we've
Good.
had, yeah, I think everything looks pretty good.
We'll hope the summer continues to treat you right, and you end up
Yeah,
with a bumper crop here come fall. So.
I sure hope so.
So, reading a little bit about you, I was struck by the fact, of course, we know that farmers, by their nature, kind of have a knack for all things mechanical for the most part. But when I did a little investigating, I realized that you utilize your mechanical skills in a little different way. Is that right? You have a kind of unique hobby. Tell me about that.
Uh, yeah, I dabble in the high performance stuff a little bit.
Okay.
I've right out of college, I went to junior college and took diesel technology and mechanics, and I kind of really wanted to do that. And then I kind of got to school. When I was going to school with one of the guys, he was into drag racing. So, and which kind of go back a little bit. My first car was which I bought it brand new from working on the farm when I was younger. I saved my money, and my first car I bought was a Trans Am, so a Pontiac Trans
Hmm.
Am. So I
Okay.
was kind of into high performance right off the bat. So it just kind of grew, and I bought an older car and built the motor, and I did everything on the car and drag race it a little bit. It's supposed to be a street car, but we ended up drag racing it, and it's more for fun than the competition part. It's just a way to relieve some stress and look somewhere else, to get off the farm for a little bit. But anymore, it's who has time to go do stuff like that? It's it's uh it's I still have the car. I've had it for 40 years, 40 some years. So I still have both my cars. So
Oh, so you still have the Trans Am?
yep, I still have it. Yep, I've had it for
Okay.
47 years now.
Awesome. And then do you have another car?
Yeah, I have a 1970 Chevelle that
Oh,
turned into a
all right.
drag race car. Yeah.
Okay.
And then from I don't know, from that I kind of got hooked up with some guys that raced dirt late models, and I was doing the engines for them, and that was pretty fun. I did that for probably 10 years. So the drag racing kind of got put on hold, and
Okay.
I was doing it, and I still do. I just did a motor this winter for one of the guys that race sprint cars not too far from me. So right now he
Nice.
said he's got a 60% win percentage. So I'd say that's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna make a name for yourself there for sure.
Uh, well, and I just do that for fun, just for fun. That's strictly all I do it for.
So, I guess what I'm wondering is, as you think about that being your pastime, and I'm a car guy, so I love all things to do with car racing, especially drag racing. But as I read that and thought about that, I wondered, is there anything that you have learned from any of your experience with racing and working on high performance things that has helped you in your approach to the farm operation?
Probably just paying attention to detail is probably the top thing. Just the details, bigger, small,
Yep.
small ones mount too. So
Yep.
that's probably the biggest thing.
Yep, that's important. So let's talk about. So, like I said at the outset, you're a Stine customer, and you've been a Stine customer now for several years. But we like to talk about our Stine story as a company. But we also acknowledge that our customers, every customer who buys from us, has their own Stine story. So I wondered if you would tell us a little bit about the start of your Stine story and how it came about and how you came to be a customer.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I was kind of at a crossroads with the product I'd been using, and I've been buying off of Chuck through the company he was at. Well, then he left, and I'm like, God, what am I going to do now? It was like, 'cause I'd always dealt with Chuck. Well, then he got a hold of me and said he went to work for Stein, and I'm like, okay. I didn't know a lot about Stein. I knew a little bit, but he kind of filled me in, and I'm like, we can do this. I'll just jump in both feet, in the deep end, and I'll do corn and beans, and I was just tickled to death. I mean, that was I couldn't believe it, and then it's kind of went on from there. So yeah,
So, like, and so how many years ago did you start working with Stein then?
was whenever Chuck started, so it's been 10 years ago anyway, probably.
about probably about 10 years. And so Chuck
Yeah.
McDonald is your sales rep. Chuck's
Yes.
one of our really good reps there in the central part of Illinois, and so he's been with us for a while. So I guess that's kind of where it started. Tell us a little bit in your mind, are there things that have led you to continue to do business with Stine?
The product is the corn and the beans are just they're on the cutting edge. They're leading to me. They're leading the way of everything else. So of everybody else, they're seems like they're always ahead of the game on everything. So and that and the company and the salespeople, the Chuck especially, is just very nice to deal with, and the company is just super super good.
Good, good. In fact, if I recall, a few years ago, you had the opportunity to come and visit our home place there in
Hmm.
Iowa. Is that right?
Yes.
And so while you were there, I think you got to see some of our operation things we do. And from talking to Chuck, it sounds like maybe during that time you even got a chance to sit down and talk with our company founder, Harry Stine, a little bit. Harry loves to just sit and talk to growers, and so every time we have folks in, I think that's one thing that he really enjoys. I guess I'm curious, what did you take away from that experience visiting our home operation, and I guess how did it change or strengthen your perception of who we are as a company?
Probably the first thing I noticed was they put seemed like all their money in their research and stuff, and not just a big sign out front. It's and Harry was just like some guy you'd meet on the street. Just we sat down after he took us on the tour, and we looked at stuff and how they did some stuff, and I'm like, I mean, it just really opened up my eyes. And we got done, and we went in and had basically a bag lunch, and Harry sat down there and ate with us, and it was just a like a ham and cheese sandwich, and talked with us for I don't know, we was there for an hour or so just talking and visiting. I was like, He's just a normal guy, just really smart, but he's a normal guy."
Good. So we mentioned Chuck McDonald. Chuck's your local rep for Stine, and he's been with us for like we said, probably about 10 years or so. You know, that's such an important role these days for farmers to find. I think folks that they can work with, partner with, who'll help them understand the various options they have. So, I guess describe for me a little bit your working relationship with Chuck and probably why you continue to visit with Chuck. Why you think it works so well.
Well, we get along really good. It's we kinda always have got along good, and, Chuck's always I mean, if I call him, no matter what time, he always answers my calls, and if I need seed, it doesn't matter when it is, he delivers it, and that's kinda, to me, the seed salesmen are they really especially Chuck, he really takes care of me. I mean, where I can think back, 20 years ago, we had to go pick our seed up and, kinda take care of it ourselves, where now Chuck brings it to me, every bit of it, so
Hmm.
and it's like, if I need more, he's like, "Yep, how much you need, when you need it," so just he's there on the spot every time, so
So
and if
that extra service is what really
yeah,
makes a difference, doesn't it?
yes, it does. That's one of the things I
Good.
don't have to worry about then, so I
Yep.
know I call him, he's gonna be there. And even if we have a trouble, if I want to come look at something out in the field, either he'll come or he'll bring somebody with him. So the agronomist or somebody, whatever we need. So, but luckily we haven't had to do that. But he did come up, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. We had a problem with one number of corn that didn't pollinate good, and he was. They were well, him the company. They were ahead of the game. They said we think we got a problem with some of this and certain batch number, and they came out and they said, yeah, I think you got some of that, but they made it right with me, and no questions asked. They took care of it, and I had some on some sharecrop ground, and made my landlords very happy. So
Good.
it worked out really good.
That's one of those things you always like to think everything goes perfectly according to plan, but
Yeah.
in agriculture, it doesn't always work that way. And so it sounds like
Yeah.
in that case, we were proactive in addressing
Yes.
the issue and did what we could
Yes.
to try to make it right. And hopefully that kind of lessens the burden on you.
Yeah. Because they knew it way before I realized I had a problem, and they come and told me way ahead of time. So that was nice to know that they were ahead of the game. So
That's the thing about seed. You can do everything you want. It's still a living organism, and it
Yes.
and it kind of does what it wants. And so, it's good that
Yeah.
they could kind of catch that in the process. So,
Yeah.
Joe, you've had several years involved in farming now, and I guess I'm curious. From my side, in my years in the industry, you just look around and you realize that everything changes so quickly anymore, and everything's changing. I guess as you think about, in particular, working with the seed companies you've worked with, I'm curious, have your expectations remained about the same, or have your expectations for a seed provider changed over the last, three or more decades that you've been doing this?
Yeah, they have changed because from what I can remember back 20, 30 years ago, it was said we planted the same stuff a lot. And it was, this works, we'll stick with it. And now it's down to it's like you plant a number this year, well then next year it's like they've got another number that's newer and better. So it's like every year we're doing planting something different. I'm like, I can't keep up with the numbers anymore. It's like I can't remember them all because every year it's like we got some new ones. We got to try these. They're better. It's like okay.
So yeah, and we hear that a lot, and I think that's a great observation because you go back, like you said, 20 or 30 years ago, the lifespan of a given hybrid or a given variety was much longer, right? And
Yeah.
so, especially in the Stein system, because we always have new material coming. So I talk to growers a lot when they come and visit our farm about the fact that we understand that's a challenge for you as a grower because you are just getting used to a certain number, and we're
Hmm.
probably ready to kick it out the door because we
Uh
already have
huh.
something
Yeah.
better coming
Yeah.
right behind it because that pipeline's so full, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing you say is maybe that requires a lot of trust. The grower has to put
Yes.
their trust in the rep to say, well, okay, we've seen these, and this is going to act like this, and this will be a good replacement for what you have been planting, and that's a tricky spot, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like, well, and I do put a lot of trust in Chuck because he said this is really good stuff. He said we wouldn't put it out there if it wasn't better than it was the number before. We wouldn't be putting it out there. And it's like, yeah, I know I've learned that from planting Stein. It's like they won't put it out unless it's good stuff. I mean, that's just
Yep.
and I got to go throw something in. Just when I first started with Stein, I was a little okay. I'm not real sure if this is going to be as good as what I was planting. So the first 3 or 4 years, I planted say 120 acres of name brand corn just as a comparison to see if it was the
Mhm.
corn or something I was doing, and there was not enough difference in between the two to say that it was the other brand corn was better or worse, or Stein was better or worse. They were just as even, and I'm like,
Mm.
okay, that proves to me that Stein is just as good as what I was planting right all along. So
Good.
that's another reason. It's like, yep, I'm just going with Stein just because I know, uh, which I tell a lot of people, it's a family business, and that's to me that goes a long way. It's a family business, and like we are. So I really like that.
So, Joe, I'm curious. Obviously, you have a lot of places where a lot of places where you can spend your seed buying dollar, and you've chosen to spend them with Stein, and we really appreciate that. And at the end of the day, we talk a lot about what we can do to help provide value for the farmer, for our customers, and but I guess value is kind of all relative. So I was going to ask you, I guess, when we talk about providing value to you, what does value represent to you? I mean, what do you consider to be the value that Stein can bring to you?
Just a good product, just a good, valuable product for us.
Good. So, based on your experience, kind of as we're rounding out our conversation today, I was going to ask you, when you talk to growers or maybe other growers are asking you about, well, who do you work with or what brand do you plant? What do you tell growers about Stine Seed Company?
Probably number one thing it's a family business. I mean, it's a true family business, and it's like they don't spend a lot of money on advertising because they don't really have to. And I'm always telling somebody, it's like, I don't know why you spend all the money on this other stuff. It's like you can save some money and plant Stine, and it's like you're going to do just as good as what you were doing before, and the customer service is unbelievable. And I don't know. I always I brag Stein up to all my neighbors. It's like I don't know. Some of them have switched to Stein, some haven't, but some of them are. I think they got to get something for free from the. Well, they say it's free from the company. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep. Yep.
and but there's some of them that have switched and are planting some Stein, and I think they're as happy with it as what I am. So
Well, we hope we continue to provide that value for you going forward. Well, Joe, really want to thank you for joining us on the Seedcast today and talking about your farm operation and your relationship with Stine. We love to talk to our grower customers and understand how they're using the products and what those products mean to them and how it helps them in their operation. And it's great to be able to talk to you and learn more about how you're utilizing Stine in your operation. And again, thank you for being a Stine customer.
thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Stine Seedcast. To never miss an episode, subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice. Have a question for our experts? Email asktheseedcast@stineseed.com to have your questions answered on a future episode. To learn more about Stine Seed Company, visit stineseed.com. And remember, Stine has yield.